Hi, I'm Detective Unknown.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Backflip.
And I'm Inspector Home Run.
And we're the Teenage Super Sleuths, myth-busting some of today's greatest scientific hoaxes.
This is Johnny on the Spot, science reporter for the Real News Network. You won't find any fake news here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. All characters and events in this show, even though based on real people, are entirely fictional. All celebrity voices are impersonated poorly. We're coming to you today from the Bat Cave. The Teenage Super Sleuths have had to go into hiding because of the scientific discoveries that they have been making are a threat to the status quo. Okay, I am Johnny on the Spot, reporter for the Real News Network, and I'm here with Sergeant Backflip, and he has sent me a cryptic message, and he says, these are the observations. The Holocene has been relatively stable. I don't know what that means, but he's going to help me understand it. Multiple non-CO2 related warmings. Okay, I still don't know what that means. And then civilizations thrived during warming periods. Now, I don't have the PhD that Sergeant Backflip does, and he's going to help me understand this. But let's go. He also sent me a video that he wanted me to watch before we get to the chart. So let's take a look.
Dr. Tim Ball, an historical climatologist, sent me a sentence, one sentence, which I think is beautiful to end this particular topic if you want to go on to others. He said, "You can mention that it was warmer than today for at least 95% of the last 10,000 years."
Actually, 90% of the time since creation, the Earth was warmer than it is now, because the geological evidence indicates that over all of geologic history, 4.65 billion years, somewhere between 5 and 10% of that time was there any substantial ice on Earth. And now there is. There's Greenland, Antarctica, and then summer ice all over the planet, well, lots of places. So you're talking 5 or 10% of the time was the planet cooler than it is now.
Oh, okay. Well, that was pretty interesting. Now, what exactly does all that mean? So you sent me, you correct me if I'm wrong, Sergeant, but you sent me this chart, and what you sent me is a chart of the ice core record of the Holocene. Now, you told me that the Holocene is the time period since the end of the last ice age. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and so that's pretty interesting. And so what we have here is this top one is, once again, this is a temperature graph of the Holocene. Is that right?
Yep.
And then down here you have CO2. And so it's kind of like Al Gore's chart. It's just a shorter time period. This is the last 11,000 years, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. And it looks to me like you got it from some ice core from some dome location, I guess. All right, and so what you're telling me is, if I look back, that when the first farmers were farming Mesopotamia, we were extremely warm, but it looks to me the CO2 was falling. While CO2 was falling, temperatures were increasing rapidly. So that tells me that CO2 doesn't drive warming. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
That's pretty fascinating, don't you think? That's not what Al Gore's been telling me. And then look at these temperature. Now, once again, this is where, you correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't have the PhD that you do, but this looks to me like this is where temperatures are today.
Yep.
Now, are my eyes lying to me? But isn't this at the low end of the temperature range over the last 7,000 years?
Yes, it sure is.
That's pretty fast. So this peak looks like it's way above this level. Now, once again, temperatures increased, CO2 dropped, and then CO2 increased and temperatures fell. Does that make any sense? That's the inverse of what Al Gore tells me.
It sure is the opposite.
Huh. And so back here, when we had a nice warming period, society was thriving. That's when we built the pyramids. That's about 5,000 years ago, right?
Right.
That's 5,500 years ago. Then we had what was called the Minoan warming. Aren't the Minoans from the Bronze Age?
Yep.
And then we had the Roman warming. We know when the Romans were, right?
Right.
And then we had a medieval warming period. And so we had all these major warming periods, but CO2 was lower than it is today.
Yep.
And then today, when we have the highest level of CO2, our temperatures are at the lowest end of the Holocene.
Yep.
That's pretty doggone fascinating. So I can understand why you want to keep this information secret. You don't want many people to know that. You only want people that want to know, that want to join our secret science society to know this kind of information, right?
Right.
So you want the viewers out there to share this video with only people they can trust, right?
Right.
And the last thing you would ever want them to do is to let the teachers know about this, because if the teachers find out about these videos, they might have some kind of a school lockdown, raid everyone's lockers, and try to sniff out who knows this information, right?
Right.
So this is dangerous information, so share it only with your friends. Don't ever let your teacher find out about it, right?
Right.
Okay, and so you want to make sure also like, share, subscribe, and comment, right?
Right.
And join our secret science society?
Right.
All right, well, thanks, everybody.